Welcome back to the CoDaKrew podcast, the show where we analyze the latest storylines, updates, and drama of the footballing world. Today, we're looking at the first half of the final international break of Conmebol World Cup qualifiers. So with everything on the line, will Colombia secure their qualification? Who will win the intercontinental battle between Elevation Merchants Venezuela and Extreme Elevation Merchants Bolivia? And how will Don Carlo line up a Brazil squad without Vinicius Jr., Neymar, or Rodrigo?
Let's start with Venezuela, actually. Like you said, they're looking for that playoff spot, and to do it, they're going to want at least a point as Argentina hosts them at the Monumental.
Well, they have the advantage of having 1 point on top, and if there's one thing, as I said about the intro, about these two squads between Venezuela and Bolivia, it's that they rely on the home matches. Venezuela do not need to win this match unless Bolivia win away from home in the next match. And if I'm Venezuela, I'm just sort of assuming that doesn't happen. It's just based on the track record of these two teams. And so I wouldn't be too worried about winning this match, especially against, again, arguably still the best team in the world in Argentina, even if Enzo Fernandez isn't going to be playing for this match.
Yeah, I mean, what can you say about Argentina? They're coming into this as the undisputed GOATs of the qualifiers. They have long been qualified. If I'm not mistaken, they were the first team to qualify that wasn't one of the hosts. 35 points, 11 wins, 9 goals conceded in 16 matches. I know their last home game was a draw, but besides that, the Monumental has been an absolute fortress. 3-0 versus Chile, 6-0 versus Venezuela's rivals Bolivia, and that very memorable 4-1 demolition of Brazil. The one blemish was their defeat to Uruguay, and I think that result is why Scaloni will want no drop-off here, especially with this likely being Messi's last home qualifier for a World Cup. But like you said, even without Fernandez, there's an embarrassment of depth here. You have McAllister who can slot in seamlessly, and with Messi, Lautaro, and Julian Alvarez, there is plenty of firepower to break down Venezuela's backline.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, man. Look, if I'm looking at the Argentina results recently, as you said, they've been qualified for a while, but they still dominated Bolivia 6-0. They still destroyed Brazil 4-1. They don't care that they don't need to win any of these matches. They are here on a humiliation tour. This is Argentina's they're on the dark path here. You know, they're choosing the dark side. We've seen that since 2022 World Cup quarterfinals against the Netherlands. Argentina has been on a dark path. And I mean, like you've said, even though, yeah, they're missing Enzo, their depth is just way too much, man. Like, you look at the midfield four that they're likely to put up. McAllister, one of a key piece on arguably the best team in the world right now. You have Paredes, we have DePaul, you have Thiago Almada, a player who usually, is on the left wing, but because of how they're going to line up without Enzo, he is also somebody who is very capable of drifting centrally and being that number 10. So Argentina's tactics are really strong. They have basically a perfect tactic to face against, the physicality monsters of Conmebol, basically. And yeah, they're just way too good, man. And even up top, like, they still have Julian Alvarez and the ever unaging Lionel Messi, apparently. So yeah, I just don't see how Venezuela have even a chance of getting a result, let alone a win.
Yeah, I mean, dude, just look at the standings. You've got all these teams like Ecuador, Brazil, 25 points each, Uruguay, Paraguay, 24 points each, Colombia on 22, Venezuela all the way down on 18, and Argentina is almost double their tally. They've got 35. They have been just head and shoulders over everyone else in this continent. I think maybe it shouldn't have come as a surprise that they would be up top as far as they are, but yeah, the margins are just very big here between these two teams, one team having almost twice as many points as the other. And I will say, for Venezuela, the stakes could not be higher. They sit 7th with 18 points. They are only 1 point ahead of Bolivia. It is, like you said, very likely that neither of these teams will win their away games. That's not how they really play. But if Bolivia manages to get even just a point in their game, it could cause some trouble for Venezuela. And they've got some injury issues. Soteldo just got back, but now Yangel Herrera is injured, so that midfield has already been broken up once again. Rondon is going to remain the reference point in attack. He's got 5 goals. But now the big question is whether this team goes full strength in Buenos Aires or tries to rotate slightly to protect some players ahead of that decisive home game in Colombia. Because it's, even with their best roster, it's pretty unlikely that they win this anyways. On paper, I think even just a draw would be massive for them to get that 1 extra point over Bolivia. But the history is not kind here. In 7 visits to Argentina, they have never won, and they have just 1 draw to show for it all. And it's highly unlikely, I think, that they managed to break that record here.
And we should not undercount, the potential difference of just 1 point between a draw and a loss here, because I know I said like it's very unlikely that Bolivia win their match away from home, but they are facing a Colombia, and we'll talk about this more later. A Colombia side that is really not on the best form right now. That does look somewhat vulnerable. So you never know, and so I think, like, if I'm Venezuela, I'm not taking any chances. I still have to line up my best lineup because you never know what happens if it goes down to, I guess, goal differential or head-to-head, whatever it is. It's just not a risk that I would be taking. I think, like you're saying though, they still have the Rondons. Sotelo's coming back. They do have players that can, lob a goal in from the halfway line, but the quality difference is just too big in my opinion. And I would give this a more like modest scoreline because, again, I think Venezuela can be solid even though they haven't really shown it away from home, even though they have that quality. But just because Argentina are who they are, and they are absolutely savage in that even though they have long qualified, they are still going to try and beat you over the head. I'm just going to go with a 3-0 Argentina win.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. This game it's a clash of extremes. You have Argentina who are just going to dominate possession, no doubt, with their trademark 4-3-3. DePaul is the connective tissue. You've got fullbacks like Molina, Tagliafico pushing high to stretch the block. And Venezuela, they're just going to have to play reactive, play compact, try and push those long balls. Their only real weapon, I think, is transition. If Argentina lose the ball high, you could have Soteldo exploiting the space behind Molina, and Rondon's hold-up play might buy them a few chances to breathe. But sitting so deep is going to invite wave after wave of Argentinian attacks, and if Messi starts pulling markers out of position, and I do think that will happen soon enough in the game, those banks of 4 are going to unravel quickly. And I think it will be a high-scoring match. Unfortunately, Venezuela is not going to see any of those goals, and I'm going to have to agree with you. It is a 3-0 for Argentina.
All right, fair enough, man. Well, that brings us to Venezuela's main competitors for that intercontinental spot, and that is Bolivia playing away from home against, like I said before, a slightly questionable, shall we say, a Colombia team.
Yeah, Colombia, they're 6th, 22 points. Maybe not where they'd want to be, but they do know that a win here will finally seal their return to the World Cup after missing Qatar. Lorenzo's team have been pretty resilient. They've scored 19, conceded 15. Defense could be better, but they definitely have the offensive threat. Luis Díaz, of course, the standout. 7 goals makes him the top scorer in Conmebol qualifying, I think. And you have still James Rodriguez as the creative heartbeat. John Arias brings a lot of dynamism. They will be without Munoz as well as midfielder Castaño. Both have been suspended for yellow cards. But this team has got depth. They've got Arias, the Lerma Rios pairing in midfield. I think they will still be able to dominate possession. And the home record in Barranquilla is on their side. 7 wins out of 7 against the altitude merchants Bolivia. So going against them on home turf, I'm sure Colombia will be coming in with lots of confidence into this match.
And I should say, even though things have not looked amazing for Colombia recently, we have started to see a little bit of maybe turning around. Even though they haven't won any games since, I think, October of 2024, they did manage to get a result away from home against Argentina. So, there is quality there, like you were saying. Luis Díaz, top scorer in Conmebol. James Rodriguez, long washed on the club level, but it's still doing it internationally, at least for Colombia. And I think, you highlighted Richard Rios as well, but I think one player that is going to be quite important to breaking down a low block, a key player for them, I would say, is actually Jefferson Lerma. Because even though he is more of like a center-back type figure than a CDM, at least at the club level for Crystal Palace, he is somebody who is amazing at bringing in long balls, and even if not all of them connect, they cause chaos. And if you can try to unravel the Bolivia defense in that way, there isn't really a whole lot of resistance that you're going to be receiving, with all due respect.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of Bolivia, I know Terceros is their main spark. He's done pretty great so far, 6 goals, and he did score that winner against Colombia in La Paz earlier in the campaign. The only issue is, I mean, it's Bolivia. They're playing away. That is like their one big advantage. It's not even like tactics. I can talk about how Oscar Villegas is going to make them line up, give them like a 4-3-3. I can talk about who's going to be in goal, who will be anchoring the midfield, but their a record away is a draw, 7 losses, and they've also got the most goals conceded of everyone. You have Brazil waiting in the final round, which, even though they are playing at home, that's not doing any favors. I still think this is a must get result here, and they will be trying everything they can. But the history of this team and the travel conditions they're playing in is going to make this match a mountain to climb for Bolivia.
A mountain to climb, just like the mountain Brazil will have to climb to physically get to
To
that
play
stadium next
Bolivia,
match.
yeah.
But anyways, yeah, I'm with you here. I think Bolivia lost their last 3 home fixtures. They haven't won at home in quite a while. And yeah, they just don't have the quality for this match, man. Like, if Colombia are able to get 1 goal on them, honestly, they might still just park the bus because whatever. Like, rather keep your players fit and I guess not concede too much, not blow your goal differential. Not that it even matters. And just go for that Brazil match because, I mean, yeah, I know it's Brazil, but like, this is gonna sound crazy to people who don't understand the region, but Venezuela at home, or sorry, not Venezuela, Bolivia at home. What is their elevation? It's like 4,000 meters. Their home stadium, the highest
Yeah,
altitude
yeah,
in the
something
world.
like that.
They are
There, yeah, it's
monsters. They are monsters at home. They are crap away from home, but they are monsters. And this Brazil squad, as we're going to talk about more later, is missing quite a few key players. Not that they'll need to be there, though I've already qualified. But honestly, man, I'm saying it now. I would not be that shocked if Bolivia get a result in their last match day against Brazil.
Oh yeah, no, I absolutely agree. And I mean, we talked about Venezuela earlier. They've got to take that into account because Venezuela, like we said, they're not as extreme of altitude merchants as compared to Bolivia. But that also means their home win is not nearly as guaranteed either, especially if they're playing Colombia, who are definitely quite a strong team. As for this match, though, I mean, Bolivia, they've got to get through this first against Colombia. It is, I'd say, another clash between we're going to have a possession oriented side, which is Colombia, and a team that will be quite a bit reactive, which is Bolivia. Um, Colombia under Nestor Lorenzo, they've got a pretty fluid 4-2-3-1 at home. You have James Rodriguez as the central creator, Luis Diaz for a lot of thrusts down the left, and you can get Machado, Mojica to overlap, John Arias stretching the right channel. They've just got lots of offensive threats all over the pitch. And again, Bolivia, like, there's not much they can do here. They just have to be reactive. Like you said, they're going to sit in a low block and just take whatever opportunities they get. But like since you said, Colombia's got Lerma, who's great at breaking those down. I think they'll have quite an easy time, and I'm just gonna say this feels like Colombia's night. The incentives are clear for them; they get direct qualification if they win, and Barranquilla rarely forgives visitors, so I'll just call it a 3-0 win for them, and I think they'll have a
Three
pretty easy
0
time here.
Okay. I'm actually gonna be a lot more conservative because I do think that like Colombia's form recently has been quite concerning, and a lot of their players, well, again, at least recently, I don't think have been playing up to club level.
Yeah,
Obviously,
that's
besides
fair.
besides James Rodriguez, obviously it's the opposite for him. But you know what I'm saying generally. Uh, yeah. So I mean, I agree with you in theory. I do think Colombia will have a lot of chances. The question for me though is just how good their conversion will be. And so yes, I'm gonna agree with you. I think they're gonna win, but I'm only gonna go with a 1-0, just enough to get the job done. Nothing too spectacular, but they make it. They breathe a sigh of relief, and it's gonna be something to build on.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, we're not tracking points for this like with our Prem games, so I guess a win is a win here. With that said, though, we will head to Asunción, where Paraguay host Ecuador at home.
Well, this feels like, at least on paper, the most even match that we have this round. And it's going to be quite an interesting affair because these are two very defensive teams. Ecuador has conceded the least goals in all of South America. I think Paraguay is tied for the third least with 10. It's 10 and 5 respectively. So this is going to be like a low block, choppy. I mean, I don't want to say boring, but like some people would describe it that way match. And it really could just go down to I think one team getting one opportunity, and that's the main difference here.
Yeah, I mean, Paraguay, they only need a draw to confirm their return to the World Cup after what, missing the last three editions. And they have really just been. The transformation under Alfaro has been remarkable. Before he showed up, Paraguay had, I think, one win in seven. And now, like you said, they've conceded only 10 goals in 16 matches, least in the entire campaign of any team here in Conmebol. They've beaten
No,
Brazil,
Ecuador's least.
or oh my bad, Paraguay third least, but it's a
Yeah.
pretty good. It's a good performance for them. Brazil, Argentina, Uruguay all beaten at home. The attack's not explosive, but Sanabria has chipped in with 4 goals, while Almiron has thrived in a freer role, cutting inside from the wing. I will say, like with a lot of these other teams, injuries are clouding this one. And Ciso is a major doubt, and it seems like Villasanti will be out long term. So that's this match day and the final match day of the campaign that he'll be gone. But still, you've got leaders like Gustavo Gomez anchoring the back line, and I think this is a very tough, resilient unit. And in front of their home fans, I'm sure that they will play with intensity.
Yeah, I mean, we all know how solid the Paraguay back line is. We've known it for a while, but shit, man, Omar Alderete, he has been putting the world on notice in the Premier League for Sunderland. So don't forget about that guy as well. My main concern for Paraguay is their offense because I think they are maybe a little bit too reliant on Julio Enciso and Miguel Almiron. And with Enciso gone, that's a key impact player lost. And again, against Ecuador, who has the best defense in South America, that could be a big issue. On the flip side, though, for Ecuador, I could actually say something very similar. They have only conceded 5 goals, like I said before, but their last 3 games were all nil-nil draws. Again, like Paraguay, they don't exactly need a win here, but if we're talking about, if we're talking about concerns about finishing, I think you can easily say that. Not even finishing, concerns for chance creation for both for the squads here. I think you can say the same thing on either side.
Yeah, I mean, Ecuador are really strong. They have been throughout the whole campaign. I mean, second place tied with Brazil on points, which, I mean, to be fair, Brazil have also been not playing so great throughout the campaign, but it is definitely a good place for a team like Ecuador
Don't
to be in.
disrespect Don Carlo. Please do not disrespect Don Carlo like that.
We'll get to Brazil later. Don't worry, don't worry. Um, Best defensive record in South America, like you said, only 5 goals conceded. Bekasese has built a very strong spine here. The only problem is, like you said, goals remain scarce. 13 in qualifying. They haven't scored in the last 3 outings. Ener Valencia has not been in top form, so they might lean on some wide threats like Gonzalo Plata or maybe Kevin Rodriguez. And Alan Franco is suspended, I'm pretty sure, so the midfield also takes a hit. Bekasese is going to need to find the right partner for Caicedo, whether that is maybe he brings Cifuentes on or a more defensive option. Also, this fixture here, Paraguay versus Ecuador, has just about always resulted in either a draw or a win from the home team. In the last 6 games in Paraguay, Ecuador have drawn 1 and lost 5. They look strong right now, but even with that defensive solidity, this is going to remain to be a daunting trip for them.
Look, this is what I'm gonna say. I think last international window we talked about South America. The first match I said, look, Ecuador lost their last match 1-0. At the time it was just one match. I think I had them getting a 1-0 win over against it was like Peru or some other like not that strong opposition. I don't remember who it was exactly. It was another 0-0 draw. And in the second round, what I said to you was, listen, man, it was 0-0 the last time. It was 0-0 the time before that. I'm gonna predict another 0-0 because listen, man, like the definition of insanity is to have the same thing happen, is to have the same conditions over and over again and expect a different result. So I was right that time, and so I'm gonna stick to my guns here. We are going with a fourth straight 0-0 draw for Ecuador in this match against Paraguay.
Okay, so they just keep not scoring. Interesting.
And they
Um,
also keep not conceding.
that's
Both
yeah,
sides.
that's fair. So, yeah, both these teams. I think I actually want to say they kind of break that streak. And I do still have a draw. Like you said, these two teams seem the most equal of any of these matches. I won't argue with that. And I do have a draw. I'm gonna say it's a 1-1 though.
That's
Uh,
great. You think both teams are scoring?
I
That's
think both.
crazy.
I think both
That's
teams are scoring.
insane.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. I will
Well, I
give you.
mean, yeah. It's like
I will give you $100 if both teams score.
sure if you say
I'm
so.
saying it right now. It's
If
on
both teams
the
score,
air.
so
It's live.
so that's not if it's a draw. That's just if both teams
I don't
score.
even care. I don't even care what the result is. If both teams score a goal, I will give you
Okay,
$100.
man. Fair enough. Yeah, I think Paraguay they push early with the crowd behind them, get a goal probably through Sanabria. I think Ecuador can definitely claw back, maybe through like Plata. It'll be enough for both sides. Really, whether it's a 0-0 or a 1-1, 2-2, 3-3, whatever. If it's a draw, Paraguay
2-2.
they
Come 3-3. Really?
if it's a
Really?
draw,
Let's be
Paraguay
serious, y'all. Let's be
Paraguay
serious.
they get their qualification. Ecuador stay locked into the top three. I think regardless of how many each team score, if it's a draw, it's more than enough for them. I don't think they'll push too hard. That's why I'm not saying more because one, we know that these teams don't score much, and two, they don't have a need to. Like they'll be if there was one match that you would want to match fix here, I think it's this one right here. They
Yeah.
can both just settle down for a 0-0, 1-1, whatever.
It will be
But
match
yeah.
fixed. Not officially, but I mean, tactically maybe.
Anyways, 1-1 draw. I can take a 0-0. I just think a draw makes the most sense here. I mean, historically,
Yeah,
it's what
no,
they've been
fair
doing,
enough.
right?
All right. Well, the next up, Uruguay vs Peru. I'm not sure why I said that so weirdly, but it's fine. This feels like on paper it should be pretty obvious, but maybe this is a continent that is full of surprises. So, just tell me what you're thinking for this.
Yeah, I mean, Uruguay, obviously, very strong position for World Cup qualification. They're only a point behind Brazil, who's already qualified. Tied with Paraguay. I guess they have some competition from Colombia, but it's a 2 point gap, so I think they'll be fine. Um, they like a positive result here seals their ticket to North America, and the form is promising. I think they can definitely keep it up, and they can find their qualification spot right here. You have a lot of great players. Bentancur, the engine in midfield, dictating the tempo. Nunez is still gone, but I don't know if he comes back for the next match day, maybe. But you have Rodrigo as the central striker to hold up the ball for runners like Plata. Not to be confused with the previous Plata, I think Paraguay's, or no, not Paraguay's, Ecuador's, sorry. Lots of players with very similar names in South America. Kinda, I always have to list first names, or otherwise I get confused. Anyways, it's a good team for them, and Bielsa has been doing well. I can't really fault him as a manager. It's a pretty good campaign for them. They do have Nunez gone, Maxi Araujo suspended as well. Might force Bielsa to mix up his roster a bit. But even though you're saying like yeah, there can be surprises in South America, I think against a team like Peru, this will be a pretty easy one for them. They shouldn't expect to have much trouble here.
Yeah, no, they still have like several amazing pieces. Bentancur, obviously, um, Manuel Ugarte. Maybe not the best at club level in Amarin's system, but that's a different issue. Palestri, I mean, they've just got so much talent, man. Even with Jimenez and Araujo out, and they have the other Araujo, Ronald, in the back line. I mean, this squad is a stacked, man. So I'm looking at this on the one hand, yes, I think Uruguay have had a bit of a dip since Copa America. We can't deny that. But at the same time, I mean, they just have the quality, and I look at Peru, and I'm just quite worried about them. They basically need to win these next two matches to qualify. First off, so they're in a do or die situation here, and they have not scored a goal in their last three games.
I mean, Peru, mathematically, theoretically, they're in it. They are 6 points behind Venezuela. So what they need to do is clear up the 6 points. They've got to win both matches, clear up a GD difference of 7 goals. So they've got to score like 8 more than Venezuela do. And at the same time, hope that Bolivia doesn't get a single point, or else they're gonna come into contention as well.
Yes.
Uh,
Reminder they have not won a game at home in this entire qualifying window. In
somehow.
this entire qualification. Just so we're in the clear here. and they have to win this match away from home against Uruguay to even have a chance.
Right. They've got to win this one. If they don't, it's just done. I mean, the attack is struggling. They've had like how many goals even is it that they've scored? Was it I want to say 6? Was it 6 or 7 goals that they've scored in this entire campaign? I'm pretty sure it's the lowest out of everybody.
It is the lowest. I don't know, but it is
Yeah.
the lowest.
I think it's 6 goals. It is really terrible.
At least Garekabal can create chances.
The away form is not great. They are gonna rely heavily on just defensive discipline. I mean, they have relied on that anyways. But how are you meant to do that now when you have 2 games that are must-wins to even have a chance to qualify? I just don't really see the path for them. You can guess who I've got winning this, like generally what my outcome's going to be, but it's just, like they're in such a tough spot here, man. They do not have the roster to face a team like Uruguay, unfortunately.
Yeah, I would actually normally give this a 1-0 to Uruguay. I think that's what I would normally see. I think Peru, like even if they concede a goal, they would just sit back. They would try to protect their goal differential. But and a goal is coming. But the issue is they have to win, and if that happens, if they concede a goal, they have to go all out, and that could cause an absolute bloodbath. So I think I'm just gonna go with, even though Bielsa has not looked amazing since Copa America, I'm still gonna say Uruguay clean up shop here and get a 3-0 win.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. And yeah, Uruguay's home form is good. They're definitely heavy favorites here, given Peru's poor away record, lack of goals, and probably just low confidence coming into this as well. I think Uruguay, they've got enough quality to score multiple times while keeping Peru at bay, especially because Peru doesn't have much to offer on their own. The Celeste will control this match from the outset, and I'm going to be a bit more conservative, but I'm still going to give them a 2-0 win. And I don't really see Peru getting much of a shot at goal at all.
Yeah, fair enough. And that brings us to the last match. It's going to be interesting. On paper, it doesn't freaking matter because Chile are already eliminated and Brazil is
Yeah,
obviously already
bit of a dead rubber, yeah.
But the question here is, how is Don Carlo going to show his cards? Who's going to get chances in this window? Because like I said at the beginning, there's no Neymar, there's no Rodrigo, and there's no Vini. What's up for grabs is not whether or not Brazil are going to qualify. What's up for grabs is who is going to qualify for that World Cup squad. And this is a prime opportunity for somebody to potentially win that. Maybe a Lucas Paquetá, his first opportunity for the Brazilian national team, I believe. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, not the greatest start to Brazil for Brazil with this campaign, but they are qualified with 25 points. They're playing Chile, who are already disqualified. So I think Ancelotti is just going to use this match to test his depth, integrate new faces. Again, like you said, no Neymar, no Rodrigo, no Vini. The squad is going to lean more on those young, but still somewhat proven talents. If you look at, obviously you've got Joao Pedro leading the line. Paquetá has been doing well for quite a while at West Ham. He can form a dynamic midfield core with Andre Santos.
I don't know if
Well,
well and West Ham can be put in the same sentence.
Well enough, I suppose. Him and Bowen are basically lifting this entire club up. So if you are the reason a Premier League team has not gotten relegated, hat off to you.
Jared Bowen is the reason. Let's be crystal clear here.
Okay, he's not a bad player though, and he has a good opportunity here to show his stuff. And he again is gonna form a great midfield core with Andre Santos, and you get some more energy from a surprisingly good-looking Casemiro. And the attacking units are versatile. You have Richarlison provide that direct threat, and some good wing rotation to allow Brazil to really stretch Chile and exploit space behind their defense. I think Brazil's own defense is also solid, and so they're just gonna aim to dominate possession, limit counterattacks, and I guess let their attackers go wild, really. Like, they all have something to...
The audience. I'm sorry, I gotta remind the audience real quick. This is not normal Richarlison we're talking about. This is World Cup year Richarlison. And if you don't know what that means, watch Tottenham's games so far. This man is just on another level. Remember World Cup 2022 when he scored that amazing scissor kick goal? That motherfucker did that again. Match week 1 in the Premier League. He is ready, man. This guy is sleeping. He's He's playing like shit 3 quarters of the of the
between World
cycle,
Cups,
but it's the
exactly.
last year. It is the year where he has to make sure he still has his
A
Brazil
spot on the team,
squad.
exactly.
He has to remind people that he, in fact, does have a Brazilian citizenship and passport, and he is not a fake. He does actually have Joga Bonito. Okay, this guy's real. This guy's for real. He has to
Yep.
prove it, and so I'm just saying, don't discount this man.
Q4 of the cycle, man. He always comes through.
Q4 of the cycle.
And
Damn.
I don't know what to say. Chile, like I'll talk about him in a bit, but what are they meant to do here? Brazil, even with again, Neymar, Rodrigo, Vini gone, they've still got so many stars on this team. And I just don't know how you stand up to that, really. And Chile, like we said, already disqualified. So what even are their goals here? I don't know. I think it'll be pretty easy for Brazil.
Well, what I can tell you is how Chile is going to try to deal with Brazil, and it is going to be the same method that they have been trying for, I guess, for the last like 5 years. It's to rely on old geriatric fucks from the retirement home in a 36-year-old Alexis Sanchez and a 38-year-old Arturo Vidal, who are somehow still their best players. And that's not a good thing. This is not a messy situation we're talking about here.
Yeah, I don't even know what to say with Chile, man. 10 points, 2 wins, so far off qualifying. Gareca's gone. They've brought in Nicolas Cordova, I think, and yeah, the golden generation is it's over for them, I guess. They've just got to phase it out, bring in the youth. They're really lacking
It's been
elite.
over. It's
Yeah,
been over.
it
Let's just
has.
be clear.
They've just finally like come around to just cutting it off, end the project there, start fresh. They really lack elite attacking options and creative depth. They're not great away from home. They haven't been great generally. I think they'll just like this match. They'll just be limited to absorbing pressure the whole time and attempting some sporadic counterattacks that probably will not go anywhere. They have had minimal offensive output throughout this campaign, and they will be very vulnerable against a Brazil side that can break them down through width and central control. It's just not looking great for them.
I wouldn't like analyze this like a normal match because what's really happening for both sides here is they're gonna be experimental. We actually have no idea how either team's gonna line up, and they're gonna treat this as basically a more intensive training practice. You know how Saudi Arabia treated the Gold Cup a few months ago, fucking parking the bus every match, not even trying to win the tournament, just fucking what's their manager's name? The French guy. Anyways, you know what I'm trying to
Yeah,
say. Yeah, that guy.
right.
He's just he. I mean, it's gonna be
Renard.
that situation for
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
Renard.
it's
It's
just
it's gonna be
Renard. He's
that's what's happening. They're not gonna try to win. I'm not even sure they're gonna try to counter. They're just gonna be like, okay, we're gonna bring in a bunch of new guys into the roster. Let's see how good we are at defending. Let's see if we can limit the amount of goals we concede against this Brazilian squad. That's the strategy. They're not trying to score. They're not trying to win.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, what is there even to say here? Brazil, again, we can talk about strategy all we want, but like with Bolivia, Chile here is just a team that is like down in the dumps right now.
At least Bolivia can win games at
They
home.
at least Bolivia has their home advantage. What does Chile have? Honestly, like they, as soon as they attempt to build from deep, Brazil can just step up, press selectively, and soon enough they'll find an opportunity, and that'll be 1 goal, 2 goal, 3 goal Brazil. Uh, like they have all the firepower in this match, and really Chile, all they can do is sit back and try not to embarrass themselves too much. And I'm just gonna say I'm giving Brazil a 3-0 win. I don't
Okay.
think I think it could be more if you had Vinny on this team or you had Neymar with you. They could be trying to score. Like maybe Neymar's trying to show that he's not washed. So let me score 4 goals against Chile. I don't know. Um like but
Dude,
here
I don't know if Neymar still has a spot on this roster for the World Cup next year. I'm gonna be honest with
I
you. It's not looking good for him, man. It's not looking good.
I gotta agree. I mean, with cause with Vinny Rodrigo, it's like they play well, and I guess they're probably not called up because you don't want injuries, you don't want suspensions. With Neymar, I'm not sure if that's the whole reason. I mean, I'm sure lots of the fans will definitely want him at the World Cup. I don't know if he's deserving of the spot, performance wise. I assume Brazil will want to win the competition, so maybe not the guy to bring on there. I don't know. But yeah, even still with those three gone, Brazil have got so much attacking depth, good defensive depth as well, and Chile, even if Brazil were to go all out on offense, Chile are not the kind of team that can take advantage of their openings. They've been playing defensively. Like I said, their offensive output has been terrible. And so I don't think they're going to score anything. Brazil, I don't think they'll take it too seriously without those three players up front. But yeah, I'll just give them a 3-0, and I think it'll be quite comfortable for them.
Same thing here. I'm just gonna be a little bit more conservative again because like we don't really know what's gonna happen with these two squads. But yeah, you basically said everything I was gonna say. I'm just gonna do a 2-0 for Brazil. Like I think I do see them potentially wasting a lot of chances because they don't really care. But yeah, there's not much else to be said for this.
Yeah, and that is the second to last match day of Conmebol covered, I guess. So,
Yeah.
anything else to say about these matches? I think most of these have a pretty clear winner. Yeah, besides
Yes. Besides
Paraguay,
Paraguay,
Ecuador,
Ecuador,
which
and
is
maybe Colombia, Bolivia, I would actually say because
that's
again, Colombia's form not so great.
not
This
great.
season.
Yeah, I
No
still
one's talking
think
about it, but
I still think maybe it's like a 1-0. But I think did you say a 1-0 for that one
I
actually?
said 1-0.
Colombia Bolivia. Yeah, I had a 3-0, which is maybe a bit much, but I think it'll still be pretty comfortable for them. It's just Bolivia away from home. I don't see them doing much. Paraguay Ecuador is definitely the most interesting one here. Most likely, I think a draw, but you could see like a winning goal from
Most
either side.
interesting on paper, most interesting out of curiosity. I think maybe the least interesting in terms of the actual football that will be on the pitch, though.
That's
Just to
true.
warn our viewers, I would caution against watching this match when there are others happening at the same time, unless you are actively a fan of one of these two countries.
I think if there was one match I would watch here, it's Argentina Venezuela. I don't know. I've been following Venezuela. I kind of want to see if they can do anything. I'm not sure that they will.
I mean, I
Uh,
don't want to. I feel like
I
I
don't.
keep saying this, but I feel like they had a golden generation going on, and then Canada, we just killed it off with that penalty shootout
Oh,
against South America.
yeah. In our
Like,
last
and
episode
really,
on
like if you
internationals, we
look
were
at how
talking
good
about
that
that.
team was before, not even just before the competition, but in the lead up to that match, and how they've been ever since, it's the fall off has been generational, man, generational.
Yeah, I still think they'll get the playoffs over Bolivia, but I mean, like once they go in, I don't even know who they're gonna play in the playoffs, but it's not looking too great for them. I think New Caledonia's qualified; they can beat them at least. I don't know.
Wait, Oceania has like a intercontinental
They
spot.
have one spot, yeah, in the playoff.
Interesting.
I think every confed gets a or
That could
every
be
confed
interesting, you know.
save for UEFA gets a spot. Yeah.
Yeah, right, right. That could be interesting. New Caledonia vs Qatar, hypothetically, that's an even match.
Hey,
I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
come
Cut
on.
the video, cut the video off.
Let
This is getting ridiculous. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, there's
You're right.
CONCACAF
Sorry,
qualifiers.
it's not close. New Caledonia is clearly better, actually.
Let
Yeah,
New
yeah.
Caledonia host a World Cup, man. We'll see what they've got. Anyways,
What the fuck? You can't play football in water, man. What are you talking about?
they have some land. No, elsewhere else do they play?
Brother, aren't the World Cups in like 2030 up until 2034 already like
Oh, they're all
closed?
decided. They're all
Brother,
decided.
by like
New
2030,
Caledonia will be
Caledonia's not gonna
underwater.
fucking exist. It's gonna be underwater, dude. Like, what are we talking about?
Okay. CONCACAF qualifiers coming up. We're gonna have a video in a few days for rounds 1 and 2. We're just gonna cover them both because they're kind of close together, and then we'll do last match day of CONMEBOL. So if you enjoyed what we said here, stick around because we've got some more international content coming up before the Prem starts back up again, and when that happens, we'll be right back to covering match weeks. Yeah. In that case, then we will see you all for the next video. Have a good day, everyone.
All right, subscribe.